Okay, hi. Here's the situation. Hi, sorry. Before I get to business, welcome to episode 4? Episode 4 of No Worries If Not. Here's the situation. So far, apart from the first episode, which was a pilot episode, so not the best, I've had to completely re-record the last 2 episodes. Not like I haven't been saying them word for word. I've just re-recorded and just recorded something new. And so I feel like that's going to become a theme. And so it's currently, where even is my cellular device? It's currently 8:08. Angel numbers? Maybe. Who knows? On the 22nd of Jan, Thursday night, right? And so I have decided I'm changing to posting these on Saturdays because my days off are Friday, Saturday, and I don't know why I started posting them on Friday because, well, I started posting it on Friday because Friday was the 1st of January and that's when I wanted to post it. But posting it on Friday is dumb because that means I have to rely on the fact that I would have filmed and edited it in a day. So I think posting it on Saturday makes more sense because then at least I've got like a day and a bit. We'll see. Again, like I've said before, I'm the only person holding myself to these standards. But I'm filming this on Thursday night because I just feel like I'm cursed and I'm going to have to re-record. Also, I'm filming this. Wait, did I click HD? I have to check. I'm so sorry. Wait, it's so embarrassing. I fully had. Everything was fine. I'm filming this backwards. That doesn't make sense. I'm filming this from my back camera because I was filming it from my front camera because as a 23-year-old, I feel like I'm most comfortable filming when I can see myself. And I was like, I filmed something on my back camera on this phone because I use a different phone for this. Don't ask, I'm not rich. I just didn't get rid of my old phone when I got a new one. I'm like, the front camera's just like not as good. And the back camera's good. And I'm trying to make the quality of this better because I'm sticking with it and I'm doing this. And so if I'm doing this, I might as well do it well. They just fill me with fear because I'm like convinced that it's just going to stop recording or that I'm out of focus or that it looks bad. I don't know. I think the microphone debacle, the microphone incident of last week has made me very fearful of technical difficulty. Maybe this was a bad idea. And then I was thinking about it. I was like, there are other people that film podcasts. Wow, I can't speak. There are other people who film podcasts on their own who must deal with that all the time. So it's just, guys, it's just a part of the game. It's just a part of the fun. I do have my iPad there so I can see if it stops recording. I'm just genuinely so convinced it's going to stop recording because last week it kept saying I was running out of storage, which doesn't make any sense because this phone is completely empty. That's why I did this. But hey. Other news, other podcast related news, I guess. I bought a refurbished MacBook. It could be terrible. It was quite cheap for what it was. That's arriving on Monday. And then the step after that is, unfortunately, I think I need to get a real microphone. As much as I love this, it is crazy. It is crazy. I'm aware. Like, I have no freedom. I mean, the quality's surprisingly good considering what it is. So it's not like the end of the world if I use this. And so with the microphone, I'm not rushing. But I'm going to get a MacBook. Well, I got a MacBook, which is a crazy thing to say. But I don't know. I just think that will be helpful for editing. And if I do get a microphone, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm going to do some research, but I was thinking about it and I was like, I guess other people do it that there's like an audio track and a video track. Guys, I don't know. If that hasn't been made abundantly clear, I don't know what I'm doing. But it's really weird. I need to, and see, I keep hitting the microphone. So that's whatever. Something that I've been made aware of in recent time is I'm like surprisingly bad at spending money considering how kind of bad I am with money. I think I've been kind of edging on broke for 5 years? And then you know, so I've been having to like not spend too much. I haven't been able to buy myself nice things, and so, you know, I wasn't able to get myself a new phone, get myself a laptop, buy things that maybe I kind of need but aren't desperate, like I'm not desperate for. And then recently I came into some inheritance money, very fortunate. Not like millions, just like more than an average, more than the amount of money, disposable income I usually have, because I would argue I don't usually have any sort of disposable income. So I just came into a little bit of money. And, you know, there's a few things I needed. I need a new sofa. I wanted a new phone, all these different things. And I got the sofa. That's a lie. I got the phone. I got the laptop. But every time, like spending just like over £50 on anything is so foreign and weird to me. Like with the new phone, I really wanted a new phone. I had this phone that I'm filming on for years, and it lasted me a really, really long time and was great. But it was old, and the battery life was really, really bad, and all of this. And so I was like, wait, I have this money. I'm never going to have money like this again. Like, I'm never going to just have money ever. So I might as well buy a phone now, knowing that this is kind of the only time I'm going to get it. So I got a new phone, and that felt crazy. The first kind of big girl purchase I did, and like my mum did make it very clear. She was like, you need to get a new sofa, which is true. I have a sofa and it's fine. I just do kind of absolutely hate it. And it's like half a sofa cut in half because that's all I could get into my flat, and so like it's not great. And so I need to get a sofa, and so, you know, mum was like, put aside a chunk of money for the sofa because it's an adult purchase, which is terrifying. And you're going to have this sofa forever. And she's right. Like usual, my mother is right. And so we go to DFS and we look at a bunch of sofas, and there's this guy there. I can't remember his name, Chris. Shout out Chris from DFS. He was an absolute fucking legend. He was so helpful. He was so sweet. I honestly think, was I better at spending money, I'd buy anything from him. He just was so lovely and kind and patient with me and my mother, who are extroverts. He didn't need to be patient with us, but if there's one thing me and my mum are going to do, like, it's a stand-up special. It's a, you know, everything's a joke. I'm pretty sure that's what she said was said multiple times by me, not my mum. She's not like that. I am. And he was really, really helpful. He was really, like, reassuring about getting it into my flat, because that's also a whole thing. And we find a sofa, and it's lovely. And, you know, he breaks it all down, and it came to, like, just under £1,000 if I got all the insurance and stuff. And I obviously leave being like, I'm going to do it. I just need to go home and like double check it's going to fit in my flat, all of this. I cannot do it. That's so much money, guys. That's so much money for a sofa. Am I crazy? That feels like so much money for anything. That feels like so much money for literally anything. And so my mum was like, hey, did you get it? And I can't do it. Love you, Chris. You sold it to me and you're probably right. I can't be spending £1,000 on a sofa. That just feels so bizarre to me. I can't really be getting one online because I need to be so specific, because my flat is really hard to get up to. Once I'm in, there's enough room, but it's really hard to get up to. All these different things. And so I just can't commit to anything. But in that same conversation, let's say I go, I'm going to get a takeaway tonight. I could easily drop £30 on one dinner. Without question. Let's say I'm going out for dinner with friends, 50 quid, done. Let's say I'm at the pub, 50 quid, done. But like shoes being over £20, I'm okay. It's so weird. It's so like, I don't know why I have such like an aversion to spending money on things I need, but I'll happily spend money on something that's going to last me an hour. And yes, I love food. I love food. I do. I really do love food. And I also like not cooking. I love cooking, but I also like not cooking. But then I'd spend, you know, that much on like a meal, but I won't spend a lot of money on something that like it costs a lot of money. I don't know where I got this from. I think it is kind of like, I think it's the like semi-broke 20-year-old, 20-something mindset of like, I will pay for ease, I will pay for an experience, but I'm not gonna like pay a lot of money for like something substantial. And the other thing is clothes. I'm not gonna be spending money on clothes. I'm really, really, really not. I'm really not. And my wardrobe is so outdated, and I'm like, there's so I wish I had the motivation to spend money on clothes. But again, I'm going to drop 25, 30 pounds on Wagamamas or like just something from delivery. But I'm not going to spend 20 pounds on like a nice pair of jeans because that's a ripoff. It's so sick and twisted. But on that, I am choosing to invest money into this, which I also have feelings about, because as much as I'm really enjoying this, and like everyone I speak to, all of my friends, like I was on the phone to my good friends, great friends, Will and George earlier, and we were having a conversation, and we somehow got onto the topic of like the nuance of addiction, and I stopped in the middle and just went, this is just something I would talk about on my podcast. And Will was like, no, fully. The podcast is just like conversations we will have over the phone, but it's just you. And so that, like, I think I listened to like a couple episodes of Brittany Broski's podcast because I was like, someone had said, hey, that's kind of like what you want to do. So I listened to a couple episodes of it and I was like, oh, this is 100% just how I talk to my friends. This is how I like have conversations. Like one thing about me is I'm gonna make the conversation deep whether we were trying to or not, and then I'm gonna quickly drop a joke and we're back to fine. Like I love getting into the nuances and complexities of brains real quick. Like I'll get there so quickly. We'll be talking about like someone could be like, ooh, I'm thinking maybe I'll get a double, not a single, and I'll be like, and so how is your relationship with your father? Do you know what I mean? Like and so, yeah, I'm investing into it. Even though it might go nowhere. I think there is a continuation of it last episode talking about this pit in my stomach, which I'm happy to say has eased up. She's eased up for sure. I've kind of gone a little bit back to normal, which is great. I'm not feeling as obsessive and crazy. Even if this is just for me, even if I'm the only person who watches these back, because best believe I watch these back. I also have to edit them. So I edit it and then I'll like listen to the whole thing. And I'm like, if I enjoy listening to it. Is that fucked? I'm realizing it in real time. Is being able to listen, guys, is being able to like listen to yourself speak for like almost an hour, is that normal? Am I like, again, this goes back to the reverse insecure. Am I like incredibly egotistical and vain? Because I feel like sometimes maybe yes. Anyway, even if this is just for me, even if I'm the only person who listens to this, that's fine. It's filling. It's, what's the word? Fulfilling. It's, guys, what's the fucking word? It's fulfilling a need? No. It's, guys, I'm never gonna know. What's the fucking phrase? It's doing something for me. It's doing something for me. It's helping me. Oh, I had a training session today at work, and there was 2 people in the room who English was their second language. And one of them said, it's harder for them to communicate sometimes because they are having to communicate in their second language. And I'm sitting there going, well, then what the fuck is my excuse? And it's not that I'm bad at communication. I'm quite good at communication. But a lot of the times you have to decipher whatever the fuck it is I'm saying, because Lord knows it doesn't make any actual fucking sense. Like, I blend together phrases, I mix up sentences, and I'm just shocked that it's got me, that I've gotten this far. And then I say, hey, I think I was built for podcasting. Can't speak a full word of English. I'm questioning everything. I'm spiraling in real time. You're witnessing it. I need a drink. Anyway, this feels like a very reflective episode. I feel like this is week 4, so this is almost a month now. This is 3 weeks. That confuses me. What do you mean I have 4 episodes, but I've only been doing this for 3 weeks? Does that make sense? That doesn't make any fucking sense to me. 1 week, 2 week, red week, blue week. No, I guess this is 4 weeks. How long have I had these nails? Week. Okay. I'm confused. I'm really confused. I feel like I've had some customer feedback. I've had some personal feedback. Dan was saying to me, that he like doesn't like remember things from his childhood. The way that I seem to. Like if we go back to when I was talking about secondary school and being bullied, which actually I really have something to say about that. But we'll come back to it. And it just made me realize like I do just have so many like little tidbits, little stories from my life that I remember in such vivid detail. But then I also had the thought of like, do I remember them in neat detail, or have I told these stories so many times in such a particular way, maybe with exaggerations and elaborations, that now it's like almost a bit like it's almost like a skit I'm doing, like beat for beat. Like it definitely is. I also have like sad stories that I tell. Okay, they are sad stories and like they're like tragedies in my life. Like there's a big one I'm thinking of because like I'm not going to tell the story because it's actually so dark and depressing, but my uncle died when I was 7. And that story is just tragic. But because I am the way that I am, I have a way that I tell people the story that has pizzazz. No, that's fucked up. I don't think he'd mind. He seemed like from everything I've been told, the guy was a comedian. The guy was a goofy guy. He was funny. And so I think he would appreciate me being dramatic when I tell the story. And I'm not like saying dramatic like I'm going, oh my god, it was so hard for me. I was 7. Like, don't get me wrong, there was repercussions and things were hard, but also I was 7. I barely formed as a human, yeah. So like it did not impact me near as much as it impacted other people, right? But like the retelling of the story that I wasn't there for, I just have in a way that I tell a certain way. And I know that I tell it that certain way because there is a word. The word is fire. Okay. Fire brigade. Fire brigade. Brigade. Fire brigade. I have to say that word in my retelling, and it makes me realize every time when no one ever says that word. When have you ever said in recent times, fire brigade? Got it first try. And so every time I tell someone this story, I have a moment of like consciousness where I go, it's got to that word that I can't say. And I can never say it. And I kind of have a moment of going, wait, do I tell this story the same every time? Same beat, same script, same lines. But I think that is maybe a common experience, especially for people like me who love a little story, who love a little bit. We do, I guess it's like when you do, if you're a stand-up and you're doing a set, like you are going to hit the same beats. You're going to hit the same comedic timing. Again, I know I'm talking about my uncle's death, but there's comedy and drama, okay? You have to laugh, otherwise it's miserable. And so I think that maybe is fine, that I'm saying the same thing the same way. And so, but I do sometimes things like with these stories, not that one I know to be true, but like other stories about personal experiences I had. I'm like, is this actually what happened? Or did I add a little twist here and there as the years went on, and now this is the story I have, and like 80% of it is true? Does that make sense? But I do have so many. I do think I had quite a good, like I had a fun upbringing. I had a very fun childhood. I would classify both my parents as weird in the best way. I'm also weird. This is a fun story. I had a therapist once, and we were on the phone and she was like, what were you like as a kid? And I was like, oh, I was weird as fuck. And she went, maybe like let's not do the negative self-talk. And I immediately was like, I literally never said that was a bad thing, so actually you're projecting onto me. No worries. I think being weird is great. I would hate to be boring. I would so hate to be normal. And that's not me being like edgy and cool, because sometimes being weird sucks. But God, it must be so boring. It must be so boring to just like live and just exist with like no emotional ups or downs or excitement. And yes, maybe that is because I like medically can't regulate my emotions. But maybe it's just because I'm fun. Like, why does everything have to be something to do with my ADHD? Maybe sometimes we could just say, hey, maybe I have a great personality. It's not a chemical imbalance. It is the chemical imbalance, but sometimes it's fun to imagine a world where it isn't. And I think that's my right and that's my truth. But I think both my parents are weirder than normal. I think my mum is the more normal parent. My dad also has ADHD. So again, that's not his fault. It is medical. Again, me going, let's maybe not blame anything on medical. It's medical. But also I just think his personality, like he's funny. I would say, he's probably going to disagree with this. I think he's quite youthful. I think he's like definitely more like youthful than other 50-year-old men. He's quite the anomaly when it comes to 50-year-old white men. Like my dad is sick as fuck. I'm not gonna lie, guys. My dad's actually kind of the best. Not to brag. I know dads are a touchy subject. They are. They can be for everyone. But like, I can't help that my dad's sick. And like, I wish I could. My parents are divorced. So you can't be mad at me. Okay? I have divorced parents, but I still speak to both of them. You gotta take the wins you can. My mum is definitely my more normal parent. But she's like fun, she's like weird in a normal way. Whereas me and my dad are weird in like a maybe something's up way. Mum is weird in a normal way. She's like the fun kooky mum, you know? She's like she's not like other mums, okay? And I mean that in the like cringy sense. She's creative and so fucking smart. No, smarter than anyone else I know. She was like in uni for like her whole life. Like she's just, and she speaks full French. She's so musically talented. She's a music teacher. Like, so she's like fucking piano whiz. Like she can play like 50 million different instruments. Like, and I think again, she's my normal parent. And she's very creative. I don't have anyone in my immediate family that like, their whole thing is that they like work in an office. Like their whole thing is they have like a fun little 9 to 5. I've just never grew up with that. I never grew up with like, I don't know. What would you even call it? Traditional? No. What would you even fucking call it? Like you know how people just have like normal jobs? Just like normal jobs. That was an anomaly to me. That's not something I know. I grew up kind of knowing that like I could kind of do anything. I didn't have any parent going, you're going to be a doctor. I didn't have any parent going like, you're going to be really smart. My parents were just like, hey, like, could you just like try your best to be happy? Even that was like, they were like, just like try. There was a time when they were like, we'll take an attempt, you know? An attempt at happiness will do. I think a lot about my parents. And I do think they're sick of it because I do, okay. They're not sick of it. They better not be. I don't care if they are. I think and talk a lot about how as I've gotten older and as I've met more people and seen more people in their relationship with their parents, I'm so grateful. I don't know how I lucked out. I have 2 parents who love me. 1, apparently that's a crazy thing. I want to preface this with, and you can take this or you can not take this. Like, wherever you're at, you know, pick or choose whether you want to fucking engage with this, and that's so fine. I think everyone's obviously experience is different. Most parents, you know, I think something that is so important to remember is that, like, your mum and dad, or your parents in whatever way, like, are also human beings. I got a motorbike. I'm calling that confirmation. Also, sorry if I'm wheezy. I did have to run for a bus earlier and I kind of triggered my asthma. So, if I'm wheezy, it's asthma. I think, to a degree, we have to understand that, like, these people who are dealing with our emotions are also dealing with their emotions to a fucking degree, right? And so, you know, if anyone who's listening to this does have any sort of difficulty around the relationship with their parents, I'm not trying to shit on them. I'm really not. I understand that there's so many complications and nuance to this, but also at the end of the day, it's wild to me that being loved and cared for by both of your parents is kind of rare. At least in my surrounding circle, or maybe I'm just like surrounded by fucked up people. And also I want to say, like, again, if my parents are watching this, I love you both to pieces. You notice we've had so many conversations about this. My childhood wasn't like smooth sailing. Like I said, I'm a child of divorce. But even in that, they divorced before I was like, I don't remember, I think I was like 3. I don't fucking remember That wasn't like, it wasn't like I was a teenager and it was a bit, like a lot of the decisions they made, they kind of did at the perfect time. Even my uncle, obviously I know he didn't decide to die, but 7, that's gonna go right over my head. So like, thanks, but also no thanks. Hey, like, maybe don't die. But if you're going to, thanks for doing it at an age where I couldn't process it fully. Okay, maybe not actually. I really, really, really looked up my parents. They've never they've never had, I want to say they never had high expectations for me. And I don't mean that in the sense they had low expectations for me. They just had, they just want me to be happy. They just want me to be happy. They want me to be happy, safe and healthy. And that is it. That is it. And I don't think they'd ever really say, like, they want me to be successful in whatever I do. But what that success looks like for me, they're happy with. Do you know what I mean? I think success to them is me being happy, healthy, and loved and safe. And that's crazy. And that is crazy. And that is so fucking crazy. And I know that. And I didn't know that for years. And I think it's made me be even more appreciative of my parents, because I have so many people in my life who have to try so hard for their parents and have to feel like they have something to prove, or feel like they have to earn love and support, or feel like they're not good enough. All these different things. There's so many, or their parents just treat them like fucking shit. And then I'm just sitting here like, both my parents love me, and I'm aware. I'm aware of my privilege, okay? I spoke to my mum about the podcast. Dad, I want to say I didn't doubt my mum's support. We'll get it to it. Dad, I knew he would, because at the end of the day, me and Dad have spoken about starting a podcast so many times. If it's anything like this, Dad's going to be like, yeah, 100% do it. Like, no doubt in my mind. My mum, I knew, she will support me in whatever I do as long as I'm happy, healthy, and safe, right? But she is definitely the more practical of my parents. She's definitely the one who's going to be going, okay, but like, how are you going to pay your rent? Like, she's going to be the one going, are you sure? And not even are you sure? She's going to be the one that goes, okay, if you want to do this, let's make a plan. Like, she's organised, she's planning, that's how she shows her support. And so she will be the first person to go, are you sure that's the best idea? She'll be the first person to go, have you thought about this? Have you considered this? Is there another way you can do it? Blah, blah, blah. And so I'm talking to her about this gut feeling I had, about this feeling of like, oh my God, I'm doing something and it's making me realize everything I'm not doing. And it's really like, it's a really horrible feeling and it feels really like there's something wrong. But then also I'm doing well at work and I don't want to leave work, but also blah, blah, blah. I had this whole conversation with her and I was waiting for her to go, okay, what are you going to do? Like, I was waiting for her to, because again, love my mum to pieces, but sometimes I don't want to plan. Sometimes I don't want to look at the options because the options might suck. Sometimes I don't, and that's fine. And I'm aware it's a flaw, but like, sometimes you don't want to, if you want to do something, you don't want to look at how you have to get there, because that will prove, if you see that and it's really hard and it puts you off, sometimes it's better to just not know. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. And so sometimes, mum will come in and go, right, what are we doing then? And I'm like, I actually don't want to know. I would like to complain about it and never move towards it, which is unhealthy. But also, at least I'm self-aware. And so I tell her about this feeling and I'm like, I just want to be doing more, but also I can't really be doing more because of where I am right now, blah, blah, blah. And I was waiting for her to go, what are we doing? What's the game plan? And she, honestly, this changed my life and I might cry. She just looks at me and goes, I think it's just really exciting. And I was like, huh? What do you mean? Because I'm there going, I've got this feeling in my belly. And she's like, no, that's really exciting. Exciting. What is this word? What is this? I hadn't considered it once. And even though I know, like, when you get stage fright, a lot of people say, like, it's the same, it's fight or flight, Fight is excitement, flight is fear. It's the same chemical. And so I'm sitting there going, God, I'm just like so anxious about all of this and blah, blah, blah. And she goes, no, it's exciting. Completely changed my mindset. I went, holy, what the fuck? You're so fucking right, Mum. What the hell? Again, she's always right. And she was like, no, I think it's really exciting that you found this thing that you love doing and that it has sparked a thought in your head that maybe you can pick at in your own time. And I was like, and it's so crazy how she just said, all she said is that that's really exciting. And I was like, oh, cool. So everything's fine now. Actually, so everything's fine. And that's mums, guys. I don't know how they do it. I would argue I maybe have the best mum in the world. And I know maybe I'm biased, but also I have friends who have received my mother's love. And I would like you to confirm in the comments, I do maybe have the best mum of all time. And you're welcome that I shared her. Just saying. Yeah, that was kind of then what made me go, I'm going to get the laptop. And I called her as well. And I said, Mum. I said, hey, Mum. Hey, so I'm thinking of getting a laptop. And the first thing she said is like, stop asking me what you should spend money on. I think I should get a laptop. She was like, no, you should invest money into this podcast. Again. And there's something about like the one person in your life who's going to call you out if you're doing something crazy, not calling you out. And you're like, wait, so maybe... Like, because obviously I'm feeling like maybe this is a really bad idea. I was just literally saying this to my dad lately. I went to see my dad and I was like, everyone's enabling me. Everyone's enabling me. No one is stopping me. Because sometimes it's hard for me to see when I'm going off the rails. Sometimes it's hard for me to see when I'm doing something that's like a dead end. Because I just want to do the thing and I don't think about it. And so for like all of the people in my life who would usually go, hey, so this is a really bad idea. They all seem to be encouraging me. Usually I don't make the right choices. This is weird. I didn't know this is what it felt like to be doing the right thing. That's why I'm investing in the podcast, because my mum said I could. Thanks, Mum. Mum said I could. Maybe this episode's kind of good. I don't know. I am starting to get a headache. We might have to change the lighting because... Do I look really bad now? Okay. It's a little dark. Am I even in focus? I don't even know, guys. If I'm out of focus, I'm still posting it, because at least you can fucking hear me. Oh my God. I wanted to talk about that. So I posted a couple clips on TikTok because I figured that was something I should do. And if you could cast your mind back to episode 2, when I told the story about a secondary school when I was in that group chat, and everyone in that group chat told me to, and then the police and my head of year, whatever, that whole thing, right? So I posted, just remember that story. That's not what I posted. I posted a clip saying bring back bullying and talking about that. And I really hope she's not watching this, but if you are, hey girl, okay? I post this to TikTok and I say at the end, and this is where I say bring back bullying. And I talk about how, you know, maybe we should be calling people out for when they're annoying, because that's what happened to me as a child. And now I'm hyper aware of the fact that I'm annoying. I'm not less annoying, but I'm just like more aware of it, right? This girl who was in the group chat, she was one of the people, I would argue maybe one of the ringleaders. Again, this was year 7. This was actually years ago, so I don't fully remember. But she was definitely part of the squad of people who attempted to bully me and I didn't notice. Comments on this video saying, it's not bullying, it's character building. It's just crazy. It is crazy that she commented that. And I didn't reply, but I really wanted to reply being like, no, and thank you. No, and thank you for your service. I want to say immediately, as far as I remember, by the end of school, like, me and this girl were fine. Like, she didn't, it was year 7. I don't know what she was going through, and I don't know where she's at now. So this is not like a call out. This is not an expose. It was just fucking crazy that in the same episode, I posted a clip from the same episode where I talk about the time that she told me in year 7, and she's gonna comment, it's not bullying, it's character building. See, this is crazy. And you hear people say, like, when I got big and famous, like, my bullies came back and tried to be friends. I didn't need to get big and famous. Episode 2. Episode 2, I got my bullies commenting on my videos. Crazy what people do for clout. She's trying to crawl her way back because I got one TikTok with 400 views. Crazy. Get away from me. You can't use me for my fame. I can't wait for people to use me for my fame. So I'm sick in the head. I'm getting a headache. Oh. I think I need to get better at the TikTok clips, for sure. 100% need to get better at the TikTok clips. It's hard because this is a stream of consciousness, right? And so, yes, I know that I'm like comedic in moments, but a lot of the time when I'm being funny, it's like a callback. And so I have to include every fucking clip. And I'm just like, the TikTok's not built for long form. Is this long form? What is this? I would call this short form because every sentence is a different topic. But either way, I think I don't know how to... Like, because right now, the audience I'm trying to reach is my peers. The audience I'm trying to reach is my friends. This is for my pals. But I think there is an audience for this, and I know that because I watch stuff like this. Speaking of like the Broski Report, and also, you know, people just commentating on things. Like a new one, which was going to be my recommendation, but I'm going to stick it in now because this shit is good, and I can't believe it took me so long to find it. Is Pretty Much It. If you've seen on TikTok that You're in the Shot, Noah, which is only just an inch of how good the full Stranger Things commentary is. I do believe that they, on their Patreon, have full commentary of full films and full episodes of stuff. I personally haven't signed up for that because I literally found them this week. Maybe that's down the road for me. But they just, their thing is it's two friends hanging out, recording their commentary on whatever they're watching. Genius, absolute fucking genius content. And right up my street. One thing I love is just people chatting about whatever they want, and so I know there is an audience for this. This really does feel like a quarterly business meeting. Hey guys, let's check in. Maybe this is something I do every fourth episode. But I don't know how to get to that audience. I don't know how to get to any audience. I don't know what I'm doing. Do I want an audience? Does this fucking deserve an audience? Questionably, no. It would be nice. It would be nice for this to reach out the outer people. I mean, if it's going to reach my childhood bully, the world's my oyster. If you're seeing this girl, literally no shade, no hate. I am just being comedic. Because it's really funny that you commented. But hey, I hope you're doing well. And also, actually, thanks for the comment. And actually, thanks for the comment and the like. And I appreciate it. And thanks for the support. I'm glad to see we're good. I feel like consistency is key. You know, people say, like, if you put time and effort into something, eventually, like, you'll, like, see the benefits. And I do think in certain things that's true. But also, how many people out there? I don't know. There must be so many people who are doing exactly this, who are just posting hours of them just chatting absolute shit. And, like, I feel like the issue is with the internet at the moment. Not the issue, to be honest. It's actually kind of a good thing. Is there's just sheer amount of people who are able to just put online whatever they want. Like, it is crazy that, like, we live in a time where I can just, like, talk to my phone for an hour and post it for free. You can watch it for free. It doesn't cost me anything to use this platform. Thank you, YouTube. Give me money. I don't have any views. Give me money. Okay, so give me money. Or don't. I probably can't be monetized. I say a lot of stuff. I have no idea. I think there is a very high volume of people doing things like this. But I do think, I don't know. It's not that I think I'm anything special, but I think a niche on the internet, which is definitely a niche I have, like, and something I enjoy to watch, is just hearing other people's thoughts on things. And obviously we all have our own thoughts and feelings, and I would love more than anything if any response I got to this was disagreement or agreement. Like, I don't need people to agree with me. In fact, I kind of love when they don't, because it sparks conversation, and I think conversation is great, clearly. And so, not that I think I am particularly entertaining. I think I am, but, like, I'm not, like, you know, the most entertaining person to ever walk this earth. But I do have thoughts and feelings on things, and I do think about things in a certain way, and I think there is an audience of people who like to listen to people articulate their thoughts on things. I just don't know how do you get them in a 1 minute TikTok clip? 2 minutes maybe, because I'm also aware that, like, people aren't watching for the whole fucking video. They're watching 2 seconds and then they're scrolling. I did post that on TikTok and it did do pretty well. But then what's hilarious is I'm editing these TikToks, because TikTok is short form. TikTok is seconds, right? And so I'm editing these TikToks, and it's like, you know, a 5-minute piece of audio, like, a piece of video. And I'm taking out whatever, but I'm taking out, like, breaths. I'm taking out, like, like, I'm cutting, like, so it's just talking, and then talking, which isn't, okay, it's kind of how I talk, but it's not really how I talk. Like, there are moments in between when I talk. I literally just did it. Do you know what I mean? There are moments like that when I'm talking, when I'm thinking about what I'm going to say, or if I stutter, or if I'm, like, trying to articulate it. Oh my god, I'm so fucking aware of it right now. Oh my god, why did I do that? This whole thing has just been me, like, spiraling. Why did I bring attention to that while I'm doing it? That was like actually the most horrible thing I could have ever done to myself. But when I edit these, I edit all of that out because I need them to be quick and snappy so that people keep watching. And like it's also very interesting because I've been editing videos. I've been editing videos for a very, very, very long time. It's changed. I used to make edits. Oh my god. That's the asthma. I'm so sorry. I actually took a couple of years off my life, I think. Oh my god. I used to make edits. I used to make edits on Vine. And this is how long ago we're talking. Of like some TV show. I don't remember which one. Maybe Stranger Things? No, don't think so. I don't know. I used to do that. And then something I've been doing for a very long time is making videos of myself. Something I do on my TikTok every month, which I have been doing now since... So I've been doing it since 2023, I believe. Is every month, on the last day of the month or the first day of the next month, I will post a video of just all the videos I took that month to a song. Like a little fun edit of my life. It's one of my favourite things I do. I love it so much because it... You know, months go so quickly. Time goes so quickly. And like the fact that it's February next week, that's fucking ridiculous. No worries. And so I think, and also like life can be really horrible and stressful, especially like winter. It can be so easy to go, God, my life is so horrible. And then I sit there at the end of every month and I make my little videos. And obviously I only film the good things. And I make little videos of me hanging out with my friends and me dancing in my kitchen, all of these different things. And it just every month I just get to have this little video of, oh my God, here's all of the fun, nice things that happened this month. Love it. And of course it's in time to the song. Because I'm not crazy. I used to have a spam account on Instagram where I would just post, again, videos of me and my friend doing something funny. Like, I grew up on YouTube, of course I was doing this. But I had to edit that shit down to a minute because that's all you used to be able to post on Instagram. And so I've always been very good. I've always not had the skill of, like, cutting out the like, fluff. And it's been really interesting with this podcast and editing this podcast, not cutting out the fluff. Because I realised, I think in episode one, I think it's a little too edited. A little bit. It's also kind of shit because I didn't know what I was doing. And it was like 11 p.m. and I decided to do it that day. So, cut me some slack. And I'm not saying this is good, but that was bad. Now it's like, I'm only cutting really long breaks. Or if like there's a sound, or if I'm cutting things that like maybe I don't want to say. I think it's a lot of what I've been cutting. This really is actually feeling like such a reflective thing. And maybe I'm really kind of enjoying it. It might be so boring. I like sometimes will say things that are just like, what are we saying? Like you might be thinking, well, yes, I hear that. No, I cut it. Like these are the edited versions. Sometimes I just say, like I'll be saying a sentence and like when I'm trying to think of something else to say, I just keep talking. And then like, after like the fifth descriptor, I'm like, okay, so we could stop. Or if I just say something and it doesn't sound right, which happens a lot. If I say something, why is that Trump? It happens a lot. I can't do Trump. Cut that. And maybe I should cut that. And maybe that's something I'm going to cut. Oh my God. This happens every episode. What the fuck was I just talking about? Guys, I haven't mentioned the biggest thing. Sitch got me this pillow. She found it. And it says no worries if not on it. And she bought it for me. What did I do to deserve my friends? And I love it. It's so cute. And it says no worries if not. And I did almost cry. And I just shook the camera. What was I talking about? Sorry, that's what I was fucking saying. Here we go. And she's back. Sometimes I say things, like especially if I'm talking about like a topic that is like a sensitive topic. I'm not saying anything, but like last episode I was talking about like being neurodivergent. And I think in episode one I have a really good example. I was talking about having ADHD and I said, and I'll say it now because it's not what I meant, but I cut it because I didn't want it to get misconstrued. I said, I think self-diagnosing is absolutely fine, but I have real ADHD. And then on reflection, I went, so that contradicts. Like, you can self-diagnose, but what I've got is legit. That's not what I meant. So that's actually not going to be what I meant at all. If you self-diagnose, it is, again, I'll repeat it, it is so expensive and so difficult to get diagnosed with ADHD. So if you need to self-diagnose to, you know, better understand yourself, that is completely fine and valid. And it is, you know, just because I have a stamp of approval. I think it's important to see a medical professional. I don't think I think if you are self-diagnosed, don't like seek medication. You know what I mean? Like always do things like that through a medical professional. But if you see some tips and tricks or living with ADHD and that helps you, well, you're not harming anyone. You're not harming anyone, and that is just as real as me doing things in my life. And so things like that, where sometimes I will just say things and I'm like, so that's actually just not something I believe. Like I just was saying things to say things. And so I cut some of that. But I'm getting a lot better at leaving like the moments of thinking and the moments of trying to find words, because that, rather than trying to cut around it, because if you cut around it, it's too choppy, it doesn't sound like a human speaking. And I am a human speaking, and sometimes when humans speak, they think sometimes. I'm enjoying it. There is something really interesting. I'm so aware. And not always. Sometimes I get into a flow and then I'm just speaking. And that's a lot of the time what I don't cut that, because even though I'm taking moments and breathing and thinking, like that is, it's just, that's how I am. That's how I speak. That's how I do it. But sometimes I'm so aware of how I sound and how I speak that it comes across weird. And so that's where I'm like, okay, we're cutting. Because I'll be going like, because I'm aware that I've not got anything to say. And it's actually just kind of embarrassing and cringe. Whereas if I'm actually just speaking and naturally like and then I'm not going to cut that. That's just how I speak. That's just how I'm speaking. I have realized how I say also a lot. I say a lot, like full UMMM. I don't think people actually, I know people go like, I say with the hard M. Crazy. I thought that was just what we put in like cartoons, but I'd be saying it. I don't know why I'm doing this. This is torture. Why am I talking about my fucking speech habits while doing them? I swear a lot. I swear a lot. That's not going to be changing. It's been an issue. It's been an issue my whole life. I love swearing. And I don't even realise I'm doing it. I think that's what's hilarious. I don't even realise I'm swearing. I'll just be saying something and I'm like, fucking. Wasn't necessary. Didn't add anything to the conversation. But I also think for me, again, I had really sick parents. And especially by my dad, not so much my mum. Mum tried. Again, she was like a secondary school teacher. So she like, she was in an environment where it was like, hey, don't swear. Hey, so maybe don't swear. So she definitely, I remember that one point there was a conversation of like, you can't swear till you're 15, I think. And then I'd be like, what? So when I'm 15, I could say fuck? And she'd be like, okay. Well, Dad, on the other hand, like, I think I, from a very young age, the weight of swearing has always meant very little to me. Because we're all doing it. Why are we acting like it has any sort of Why am I doing this? Why are we acting like swear words have any sort of weight? This is what I'm thinking. Like, I guess we're still in an era, like, if, like, my friend has a 6-year-old, and if Woody was just to be like, fuck, I'd be like, hey, so that's crazy. But I think they're just words. I think again, language is so fucking interesting to me. I think this is just actually, it goes along with language, but I think it's actually just an interesting conversation anyway, and that's all this is, so let's have it. We are missing... Like, we are, like, confusing action and intention. Guys! I love when I do that. I love when I say things and I'm like, oh, I'm a genius. Like, you can do an action and it can be an action that upsets someone, but it wasn't your intention. Do you know what I mean? And I think that kind of goes with swearing as well. Like, if I'm saying fuck it in a sentence, I'm not like, fuck it. Like, you know what I mean? If someone comes up to you and goes like, fuck you. Like, yeah, maybe that person is mad at you. If I'm downstairs and I drop something and I go, fuck you, like, I'm not hurting anyone. I think that's what it is. But then I really do want to talk about action versus intention. Guys, I can't believe I just off the dome. Did I talk about that on here? Yeah, I did. I was talking about us being in a very selfish era, especially with like TikTok therapy, TikTok self-love, that kind of thing. I think another thing, again, that is being lost is nuance. I've had this conversation with so many people. Nuance is being absolutely tossed out the fucking window. Everything's black and white. I don't know if you heard. This just in. Technicolor out the window. We're going back to the fucking black and white days, okay? I think, and this is where like action intention comes in. People are doing it with their peers. People are doing it with celebrities. People are doing it with strangers. they are taking tiny, tiny, tiny little actions, and they're filling in their own fucking intentions of what that person was doing. And I think we're losing the plot, guys. We're losing the plot. Again, oh my God, I just really am like a broken record. It goes back to people feeling helpless, not knowing what to do, people like just whatever. But someone can do something that you perceive as rude completely unintentionally, or you perceive as offensive completely unintentionally. And we are too quick these days to jump on we are too quick to assume ill intent. Again, another one. Another fucking bar. Are you joking? We're too quick to... Well, one time was good. As somebody who's neurodivergent, sometimes I do things and I just did it. There wasn't much thought behind it. I just did it. I just did the thing. Sometimes I say things and there's no tone. I wouldn't even call it rude tone. There's just no tone. It's blah, 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 blah. And someone could go, hey, so you're actually being really blunt with me right now. And I go, what? I don't even know what day it is. I don't know what he's... And I think maybe, and I'm not saying that's the only example of intention being miscued. Is that a fucking word? So how's that going to be spelled? So it is a word? Hell yeah. Don't even worry about it. What were we talking about? No, that's not the only example of when someone can do something and like the wrong intention is put behind it. But it, like, I just think if everything I did was somebody else decided the intention behind it, I'd be fucked. Luckily, I'm surrounded by very lovely people who either understand that I'm never trying to be rude or understand that sometimes I just don't think before I speak. And or will call me out when I say something that sounds rude and give me the opportunity to go, hey, so actually that's not what I meant to do at all. I just said it weird. But less like when we look at it on the bigger scale and we look at celebrity and we look at social media and public, someone could like post a video and just be like, oh, my breakfast was so bad this morning. And someone will be like, you're lucky you had breakfast. When that person posted saying, oh, my breakfast wasn't good this morning, their intention wasn't to be, ungrateful. Their intention wasn't, they're just bring back moaning. Well, maybe don't actually. I'm trying to be more positive. And also I think, let's say somebody is still following something or someone or an organization or a brand that has been cancelled. We are so quick to be like, they're doing that because they support X, Y, and Z. There's also a world where maybe they just don't know. Like, we love to fill in gaps. We love to spread misinformation. And I saw something the other day saying that something to do with the planets, fuck if I remember what it was, but like that era of fake news, not to talk about Trump for the second time, and I won't be saying friend of the show Donald Trump because that's not true. That's actually not true. We're in a like this whole fake news, smoke and mirrors, blah blah blah. Apparently that era is ending thanks to the stars. I don't know how that works, but I'm choosing to believe it. No worries. I'm trying to think of more times. I don't know. I think it's just like people. I think people also love to put a lot of weight behind sometimes tiny things. Like, I guess it kind of also goes back to like the internet sleuth kind of thing. Like, I don't know if any of you have ever been in or around people who like I'm talking like Dan and Phil, or like when people like are convinced that two people are in a relationship and every tiny little thing is a clue and you can't tell these people otherwise. Larry, I was never a part of that, and I'm grateful because I fear it would have like permanently changed my brain chemistry. But I watched it from afar and went, oh, that was crazy. I think that I think people are just grasping for anything of substance, because I think, again, oh my God, guys, I tell you, I always end up going back. So much is being produced. So much is being pumped out into media. And a lot of it has no fucking substance. A lot of it has no depth. And it's just brain rot. Maybe this is brain rot. I don't think this is brain rot. I think this is insightful, and I think there is conversations to be had from this. And I think this is, yes, it's a whole lot of rambling, but it's ramblings of somebody with deep thought and intention. No? Am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong. Is this brain rot? Am I brain rot? Am I so brain rot that I don't know I'm brain rot? Don't you hate when you're so brain rot that you don't know? In this era of, what is it? What is that one? Cappuccino, ballerina, whatever it is. All that stuff. Skibbity toilet. I never thought I'd be saying that on my pod. 6'7". Never want to say that again. I've never said that with my chest, and I won't. 6'7". I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what it is. And yes, that was the first meme that I was too old for. And yeah, that did upset me. Because I'm not old. I'm actually a child. And so what do you mean I don't understand this? Christmas, my cousin said it, and I went, oh God, I'm fucking old. I'm fucking old. I'm not old. I'm actually so not. But you know, when the first time the kids say something and you go, I don't understand this. Put me in a home. This era of so much being pumped out and a lot of it being like Darman, oh my God. Like a lot of it just being the most fucking shallow, surface level, brain rot, mindless junk. But like not in a cute way. It makes sense that we're seeing two people look at each other for 5 seconds and going, so that was actually a declaration of love. Like, I think we just are all so starved. But then that also does mean, because we're also starved for anything, that we're then also putting a lot of anger on people that is unnecessary. That's completely unnecessary, actually. And we're putting ill intent behind people who were just living. I'm just living. It really does suck. Because it then just means, like, especially if it's like celebrity, sometimes if someone's just said something a little cryptic and like we like choose to read between them, like guys, and I really hate the whole thing of like get a job or like touch grass, but I do worry sometimes for the kind of people who do that, because I'm like, I don't know, it just makes you think about what their lives are like. It makes you think about, you know, people go, God, is your life so boring? And I'm like, maybe, but like not in like a, oh, you just don't do anything way. Like, maybe you don't have any people in your life. Is this really crazy thing to get deep about? Is it crazy? This podcast should be called Pisces Mercury and how it terrorizes me daily. But when I see people being crazy about celebrities, whether it's like they're super like parasocial or like super critical or just obsessed with a celebrity to an alarming degree. I'm not saying like they're a big fan. I mean like when they're like really like obsessive over someone. I think that's really sad, because you just know that this person maybe doesn't have anything. Maybe they don't have like love and family and hobbies and friends. Or on the flip side, they do have all of those things and they're neglecting them for, I don't know, friend of the show Harry Styles. Anyone. Any of my friends from the show. And I think it's crazy that my brain sees that, and instead of going, what a weirdo, it goes, oh, God. Not even like I'm an empath thing. I just can't help but think of things in that way. I can't help but deep that kind of thing. Because I just have to get into the mind. Friend of the show, Criminal Minds. And I'm not saying these people are criminals. That's crazy actually of me to say that. These people are not criminals. I mean, actually, some of them fucking are. Some of them are actually stalkers, and some of them actually maybe should have restraining orders, and I'm pretty sure some of them do. You know, who are just so entrenched. What does that mean? What does entrenched mean?
Of an attitude, habit, or belief, firmly established and difficult or unlikely to change, ingrained. Do you want to hear the next one?
I don't know if entrenched is the right word, but I think it is just like, and that's like I'm talking about crazy stalkers, but also there are just people who are so obsessive online that they are looking for something that they can read too far into, you know. And again, I don't know if I actually did bring this up. No, I did bring this up. I come from like fan Twitter, so I get the energy. I just don't remember ever being that crazy. And also when I was doing it, I was 15. And like 14, 15-year-olds, we're going to be doing that. We're going to be reading way too into things. We're going to be deeping everything because we are going through a really tumultuous time and puberty. So whatever. It's when you see like grown adults, like middle-aged people, I'm like, God. You know, I'm not judging. It's just like a whole different world to the world I live in and the life having like really bad asthma. I ran for one bus and it is winter and it is cold. But guys, I ran for the bus. If the bus driver hadn't seen me running, he did that thing where he like got to the stop like a good 10-15 seconds before I did and waited with the doors open. No one was getting off, no one was getting on, because he saw me running. So first of all, embarrassing, but kind of the man. I'm running. The whole time I'm running, I'm going, oh, I'm triggering my asthma really bad. I don't run. I don't be running. I have really bad lungs. I also smoke. So, like, that's on me. That is on me. I had asthma before I started smoking. But then, again, I think because when am I running? I ran for this bus. I get on the bus. I go, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I sit upstairs. I'm gripping the pole. I'm going, trying desperately to like stave away the full-blown asthma attack that I definitely triggered. And I did, and I had that thing where like you fully feel like full body tingles, like my toes started to go like a bit like numb, because there was just not enough oxygen in my body, and I was desperately, but I'm trying to do this. There are people on the bus and they've all just watched me run, and so I'm going like trying not to make it really obvious that I'm like just gave myself an asthma attack for running for the bus, because it's like so embarrassing. Anyway, so I managed to like just get to a point, and I'm like trying to put my headphones in at the same time to be like, I'm so cool and casual. And then I don't know, my dad has this all the time. My dad has asthma as well, and then I started to get it, and I was like, oh my god, I'm getting the dad thing. And I think it must be I think it must be linked to asthma, because I don't get it very often, and I had this asthma thing, and it happened about 2 minutes after I managed to like mostly catch my breath. I breathe in and I just like stop being able to breathe, and I'm choking. And I don't know if you have it. I think maybe it's something to do with your soft palate. I don't fucking know. But it's that thing where you start coughing and you can't stop coughing and you can't take a breath in. So I'm on the top of this bus going, and then I go, guys, it was awful. It was so awful. It was so awful. And then I'm like having to go like, I was coughing the whole time home, and now I feel like I'm very wheezy and like, and do I have an inhaler? No, I don't. Like, my experience with the NHS, I've actually really mostly lucked out, apart from this one time. So I got given an inhaler at some point. I couldn't even fucking tell you when, because my asthma is not severe, apart from when I run in the cold and smoke, okay? I had an inhaler for some time, right? And then I went to uni and I started smoking cigarettes. Not great. It happens to the best of us. Yeah, my asthma pump renewed because it'd gone out of date or it'd run out or something. And so I called this doctor's ahead of time, which I was literally only with them for like 6 months, which is why this is so ridiculous. And I called them and I'm like, hey, I need to get the asthma assessment. And they're great, amazing, we'll do that for you. And so I'm talking to the woman, we go through all the questions. I'm going, yeah, I got diagnosed with asthma years ago. I'm pretty sure I had this pump, whatever. I had an asthma pump. I would like to get another one because at the time I was doing like dance and stuff. So it was good to have it. And she goes, do you smoke? I say to this woman, I go, yeah. And she's like, how many? I go, like 2 or 3. And I say 2 or 3 a day. That's crazy. 2 or 3 like every other day, right? And this woman goes, so actually maybe it's your fault. That's not what she said. She was like, well, you know, don't you think that maybe like you're doing this to yourself? And I was like, well, no, I've had asthma for a long time, like way before I started smoking. Sure, I think I probably made a joke being like, well, yeah, I'm probably not helping myself, but also like I've had asthma my whole life. Then she goes, well, I'm not giving you a pump because you smoke. And again, I'm 18 years old. It's 2020, middle of COVID. I just go, yeah, all right, fair, whatever. Never got a pump since. And then I spoke to my doctor about it a few months ago, and he was like, there's literally no record anywhere of you having a pump. And so I can't really give you one. I mean, he said we could do the test, and I was like, I actually cannot be bothered. Now I'm thinking maybe because I ran for a bus and then couldn't fucking breathe. Anyway, so that's why I keep coughing and hacking and can't breathe. Because I ran for a bus. How long have I been doing this? How long are we on? I don't even know. Holy shit! It's been an hour and 20 minutes. I'm going to wrap that up because it is an hour and 20 minutes. It flew by. God, time flies when you're having fun. Thank you for tuning into this episode. This feels very much like a reflective episode. It feels very much like a 4-week check-in, a little review. This was fun to do. It was fun to do a little check-in alongside my usual yap. And I'm going to go make a hot drink or something and try to counteract this asthma because, again, the doctor would not give me an inhaler. No worries. Big love. Oh, what was my recommendation of the week? I already said it. Pretty much it. Another recommendation. I can't stop listening to this band called Edge Hill. I don't know who these boys are. I have no idea who they are. They're one of those bands that you like find on TikTok, Instagram, and I can't stop listening to all of their stuff. Okay, here it is. Edge Hill. I Can Be Your Dog. I Can Be Your Dog is up there. Something Practically, lol. Tape My Mouth, and 17 Hours. And then just because I'll throw it in there, Shooting Glances. Okay, I really like them. They're really, really good, and I really like them a lot. And then, yeah, pretty much it on YouTube. You've probably seen clips of it. It's really fucking funny. Mars Bonsignore, I love you. Mars Bonsignore, oh, that's the other one. Perfect Person, Mars Bonsignore. And this is where I reveal I once was a caller on that show, but it was on the Patreon show. Mars, if you're seeing this, hey, I was that girl you called and woke up at 1 a.m. because I was in fact in the UK very early on. And I think my nickname was nickname was Biscuit. I don't remember. It was something British. I don't know why you'll be seeing this, but big inspo. Love you, Mars Bonsignore, but he's also on Pretty Much It. Or so is it Bonsignore or Bonsignor? Sorry if I got that wrong. I'm not Italian. I'm barely English. I have to go. Guys, stop letting me continue. Big love, everyone. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. It means the world. Thank you. Thank you for indulging me. Have a good evening.